Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachah HaKodash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the house of David, which is the elect. And just something I just came across, I just wanted to bring it out real quick. Coming from ZeroHedge.com, it says, we're looking at serious civil unrest, regardless who wins. Martin Armstrong fears post-election chaos. Okay, so this talking point has been something that has both sides of the political coin, right? The Republicans and the Democrats are both pandering out onto the the public that if their party doesn't win, then the other party is going to cause a civil unrest. Is going to cause chaos and pandemonium within America, Babylon the Great, because of their political views and their ways of handling foreign affairs and even internal affairs. But as the title of this lesson reads, and it's something that we ultimately know through the prophecies, right, through the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that because we are in the days, right, the end time, right, the days leading up to the return of Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai already forewarned, okay, of how the earth and society is going to look, right before he appears. This is something that we already are anticipating, okay. And a lot of people that have bought into this whole political divide and bought into one side or the other, which, as the scriptures tells us, that this second beast that came up out of I believe it was the earth, they had two horns like a lamb, but they spake as a dragon, right? And the two horns representing the political the political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans back in the ancient world during the Roman Empire, was the plebeians versus the patricians, right? And as we're seeing, what just happened over, I think it was over last week, the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, you had uproars happening outside of that. Okay, people were engaging in physical uprising against the police that was out there. And that's just something that has become common within America, right, to the point where people are very desensitized, and it's like an expectation. It's an expectation now when it comes to quote unquote protestings, right? It's an expectation that you're going to have to deploy armed guards, the National Guard, and et cetera, right? Because people are becoming more and more irate, as the Lord said in Second Esdras, the 9th chapter, that these were going to be conditions that we are going to be able to look at to measure the time diligently. See, so the Lord is giving us the signs of the end of this age, as it says also in Second Esdras, the 9th chapter, that the ending in effects and signs. So these are why it's important, right, to continue to watch for these things, because it is our way to tell the seasons, right, tell the time. So let's read a little bit of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It says, almost everything you see and hear with the lying legacy media and government as a lie. Just this past week, the Biden administration backtracked about employment, as it was widely reported U.S. economy added 818,000 fewer jobs than first reported in year that ended in March. A huge miss or huge lie, take your pick. And that's another reason why people are uprising and uproaring, is because people have very little to no trust in the authority, the government. All right, and when you have a civil population that doesn't believe the things that their government is telling them, and then on top of that, they don't believe it, or they don't agree, right? What the government is telling them, then that's going to cause people to want to take matters into their own hand, right? Because you had the Biden administration has been, speaking this narrative of, the economy is doing great, right? They've been taming inflation, et cetera, et cetera. But when you ask the common everyday individual, how their day-to-day, buying and selling, right? Their day-to-day economy is working for them. Everybody is feeling the pain, right? Everybody, they're feeling the pain at the pump, feeling the pain at the grocery store, feeling the pain, with your bills, your rent, your car note, insurance, all these things, right? And it's driving people to a position to where they want to release this tension, release this anger. And because, as the scripture says in Matthew, right, because iniquity has abound, the love of many shall wax cold. People aren't able to contain and have self-control anymore. Okay, I believe there's a scripture in 2nd Esdras that talks about incontinency shall increase, right? And when you go into that word incontinency, 2nd Esdras 6. Let's see, 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse, or might be 5. Yeah, 2nd Esdras chapter 5, verse 10, it says, and shall start at 9, it says, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another, right? Salt water being found in the sweet, talking about contamination, okay? In your food supply, your water supply, which you already had. The FBI already came out and said that hackers from the Iranian government and Chinese government have, specifically Chinese government, have burrowed their way into the American water infrastructure supply. All right, and so if something happens to where there's a cyber attack that affects the water systems, here in America, that's going to cause water contamination, right? Reading on, it says shall be salt water should be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy. Salakia, all friends. Salakia, 1 second. Let me just do something real quick. It says, and all friends shall destroy one another, then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chambers. So you got to ask yourself, if this is a prophecy, right, a vision that Ezra saw, which as the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai gave Ezra this vision of the future, and we know that the Lord's words are faithful and true. So Ezra saw this. You have to ask yourself, what would cause friends to destroy and fight one another? Right? What would cause a society that, is, not accustomed to civil unrest, right? Social unrest, to actually, get to that point where now you got actual friends, neighbors, as it says in Isaiah, the 19th chapter, fighting one another. Well, the things that you're seeing right now, these things are snowballing, right? And there is no release. There's no, valve, have a valve pressure. The pressure is not being released to cause tensions to simmer, right? Just like how what's going on over there in the Middle East, they keep talking about de-escalation, but as time progresses, all we're seeing is things intensify and things escalate even further. So when you look at that, taking that same mindset and applying it to here in America amongst the civilians here, people are only, tensions are only rising more and more. Okay, and if they have, some type of black swan event, some type of major catastrophe that would be the, the tipping point of the matter, these people over here in America are going to be willing, ready, and able to just be at each other's throats. All right, you already have government officials speaking about that, right? Talking about if we don't win this war, then I'm afraid that the only way we'll, get things back in order is a civil war. So that mindset has already been pushed out there. But there was a video, an article. I didn't read the article, but I remember seeing a headline that there was a poll that was taken that said that, I believe it said like 40% of Americans believe that a civil war would be, happen within like the next, 2 years. See, and that's just, and that's in the conditions that we're in right now. Once again, imagine if there's some type of catastrophe that knocks off the grid or something happens to the water, right? And where people now, doesn't have running water in their houses, and they got to go to stores to get water. You already see what happens, even during the 2020, the lockdown, how people were acting, trying to get those essential goods, right? You see it happening every year when it's Black Friday, Black Friday, how people are at each other's throat, cutting each other, fighting each other. So how much more when it's something that is of an essential life or death, such as clean water, right? So it says, then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chambers. And that's amongst who? The elect, right? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding shall be the stability of our time. So right when people are acting crazy and want some type of wisdom, right, to figure out what they should do, how they should move, where they should go, because knowledge, is comforting, right? Knowledge is its own type of security blanket. Okay, so that's that's how wit and wisdom is going to hide itself, because the men of the Lord are not going to be out here, teaching. The men of the Lord, the prophets, aren't going to be out here, prophesying these things. And that's when people are going to want to seek a word from the Lord the most, right? Verse 10 is the point. It says, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness it's always a tongue twister, incontinency be multiplied upon the earth, right? Unrighteousness and incontinency. So when you go into this definition, right, of the word incontinency, right? Let's see. So it talks about, not being able to hold your bowels, right? Experience additional urinary symptoms. So basically, when you're having incontinence, it says doing, no, that's not what it is. Let me see. So like, I'm trying to just run through this quickly but efficiently. Right, so the incontinent, it says, they talk about urinary incontinence, the loss of bladder control. So it really goes into like controlling, right? You can have urinary continency, you can have emotional continency, you can have like anything. The incontinency basically means the loss of control. And that's what people are going to be, right? The mindset, they're going to lose control. And the thing is, with this truth, one of the virtues is self-control, right? Being disciplined, being able to control yourself in any and all situations, which ultimately comes from, the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and especially when he gives us the ability to be of a sound mind, right? A lot of people lose control when they're not of a sound mind, you see? So we have events taking place that are leading up to a situation, right, societally wise, where people are not going to have the ability to control themselves, okay, because you got evils, right, iniquity abounding, and on top of that, you got all these evils and all of these different, plagues and pestilences and famines and these distress and troubles that are going to be added to where, people are going to just be animalistic, you see? So yeah, so that's basically it. Like I said, the article just goes into what he was basically saying about how people, I'll just read this right here. It says, on Trump winning in November, Armstrong says, the computer says Trump shall win. I don't know how the hell they allow that to happen. They have to trap Trump in a war, or they have to unalive him, one or the other. These people are unconscionable. We are looking at serious civil unrest regarding of who wins in November. Neither side is going to accept it. And that's the thing. Neither side is going to want to accept, defeat. Okay. And especially those Trump supporters, they definitely not going to want to accept defeat. And, the so-called left, right, which they're more tied verbally, right, outwardly to the globalist agenda. But at the end of the day, both, Trump and Kamala, they both ultimately work for the elites, because who are they always talking about protecting? And Trump already spoke about bringing back, the unalive penalty, for anti-S. So, it's obvious, who ultimately they work for. But I wanted to get this here in the book of 2nd Ezra 15 in the GNT, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. It says, "The world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations." Verse 16 is a point. "There will be great political turmoil, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government." See that? So people are going to take matters into their own hand, and that's exactly what, this guy is saying here in this article, right? So I just want to play this last clip of what Trump said pursuant to the actual Constitution, which once again is something that we've been talking about, how they're going to get rid or suspend the Constitution, and Trump is already speaking about that.
And they were spraying the hell out of it. They were burning the American flag. I want to get a law passed. Everyone tells me, "Oh, sir, it's very hard." You burn an American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. Got to do it. We got to do it. They say it's not constitutional. They say, "Sir, that's unconstitutional." We'll make it constitutional. We're going to make it constitutional. But you burn an American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. That was terrible, what happened at the convention in Chicago. They're burning American flags all over the place, and the fake news doesn't want to show it.
So he just said that he's going to, they said it's not constitutional. And he said, "What, sir, we're going to make it." He said, "We'll make it constitutional." He just as if they could just bypass the Constitution, right? And the Constitution, technically, you're not supposed to be able to change, you see? But the way that he talks about it is that it's something that can be, changed. It's not something that's fixed. It can be altered. It can be taken. Some things can be taken away. Some things can be added, et cetera, et cetera. So that, type of verbiage, that type of mindset is already being pushed out there. And as we get closer and closer to the end, and the Lord continues to, bring these plagues, like a woman that is with, child, right, going through those different birth pains, it's only going to intensify more and more as we get closer and closer. So, I just want to bring that out. I want to make this quick and brief and straight to the point. Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Shalom.